Good day and welcome to another edition of Outside of Genie, where we'll be racing today, the 30th of November, on the polytrack at Greyville. For those persons watching this video for the first time, what Outside of Genie do is Outside of Genie make use of form analysis, and then by doing that, we can give you outsiders which you can put in play with your selection. So you add them to your selections, and if they do arrive, as they often does, then boosting the dividend and you get the bigger payout. You can follow us on this channel. Just hit the subscribe button and ring the bell, and you'll be notified every time this video are uploaded onto YouTube. You can also find us on social media. Our contact details 083 585 5133. Now I've made I made a calculation, and then since Thursday and over the weekend up to yesterday, Sunday, the 29th of November, we have given you 21 winners over this period, and there was outsiders winning as high as 20-1. On Saturday, between the two meetings, Turfontein and Kenilworth, we gave you 10 winners on the day, which is not bad, including some outsider selections. So we have extended our Black Friday special to today, the 5th of November, where you can now sign up and you'll get our subscription for December till the end of January. In other words, you'll be having selections from all the big racing from the Cape summer season. Plus, we will also throw in our two videos, how to read Computaform and Punt to win. And people have said that, since they watched that video and put those practices into play, they found more winners than they usually do. So if you want to, WhatsApp us on 083 585 5133 to arrange your, or otherwise, if you don't want to subscribe, you can get both packages for 175 Rand. If you subscribe to our form analysis, you get race by race selections, outright winner, and two possible outside selections, two daily recommended doubles, all to come, value bets, best bets of the day, where some of our best bets was as high as 7-1. Suggested trifecta and quartet selections. We have selected quartets of huge payouts before. Best so far 70,000. Latest big payout Vaal 19 November race 7 quartet. We also give you affordable PA and trifecta and pick sixes, which you can play as is, or you can maybe increase the value, add some horses, and then play accordingly. If you subscribe, you will get your selections like this every day. Here are your race by race selections, your pick six, your PA, quartet, trifectas, daily value bets, all to come doubles, two of them. So now let's move on to today's racing. We will be racing from the polytrack at Greyville. Just before I start with that, I just want to mention what I do is, I have two groups of people. Some groups want me to do more analysis per race. Other want me to keep the video as short as possible. So what I'm doing is I'm giving you my first selection, which is my outright selection, which I think is the horse that can win the race. That can be at any price. I've given outright selections as high as 53-1, 50-1. That has won. Then I give you my two outsider selections, and then I might discuss one or two other horses per race, trying to give the video around about half an hour. So let's look at the first race. It's a maiden plate of Felicia Mares over 1,000 meters. Let's look at the betting. Here the betting is as follows. English Princess 9-10, Austin 9-2, Lundy Island 5-2, Foxy Lady 10-1, 11-1, Royal Slooper Jet Grey Diva 14 to 1, Ziva Noir 20 to 1, 50 to 1, 50 to 1, James Baroness, and 53 to 1, Whispering Green. Yeah, not a very strong field, and I do go with the favorite here, although the favorite doesn't even have strong form, but the other horse's form is so weak that it makes his form, makes her form looks good. English Princess has been running here and thereabouts. The race beyond Lava Lou, out of that, Lava Lou has won again. And I think maybe the strongest race here is Walker Typhoon. Walker Typhoon yesterday afternoon won, I think, by 3 lengths again. So that makes that form, very strong. And in Purple Merchant, and this horse ran 2.8 behind Purple Merchant on the 11th of October. The outsider selections that I'm going for, as I said, the form are not very strong. Foxy Lady, Teeny Prince to a stable, Aries drawn to, has been running there and thereabouts. And of all the horses here, I mean, I've got the strongest form, has been placed last time out. Just got run out of it at the end by Umzunduzi, but now 200 meters short, so definitely can be involved in the finish, I would think. Roy's Slooper Jet has had 2 runs. It didn't do too bad, and I think over 1,000 poly today, Lyle Hewitson on board can definitely be a factor in this race. Then watch out for number 4, Grey Diva. Number 5, Grey Diva, coming from Bill Heeman from Rustenburg. Actually Derby, but just outside Rustenburg. That's where I'm from. I'm also from Rustenburg. This horse has been running there and there about 7 lengths, 8 lengths. There's 7 lengths behind Sudden Charm. I think Sudden Charm won by 5 or 6 lengths that day. And first time on the poly. So this run in Kimberley when it ran a second on the sand track. So maybe this horse has got a little bit of speed. Great Britain is normally speed, and Nouns will also bring some speed. Captain's Diva, I think, has thrown a few winners. So I think 5 Great Diva, not without the prey. Muzi Yeni is riding like a demon. Definitely, maybe a horse that you want to include in your quartet selections. And here we have race number 2, or merit rated 72 handicap. Lots of handicaps, only 2 maiden plates for the day, which is actually strange because normally you got 5 or 6 maiden plates and a few handicaps. But here, number 1, Purple Powerhouse 5 to 2, Calvino 4 to 1, Brave Zulu 11 to 2, the Deep 4 to 11 to 2, Hampton Court 10 to 1, Just a Guy Finger 11 to 1, Duran 12 to 1, Spider's Corner 12 to 1, 60 to 1, and longer the rest. So let's have a look here. My first selection here is number 6. Number 6 is Deep Fort. It's a What a Winter by a Vaal mare. And this horse did run one in its maiden and one in its maiden. And then last time out, they're running here in a D71. This horse ran in a C78 in a novice plate, ran 4th behind Tonight's Fight Night, late tired late. And I think this horse is going to go to the front again and can, Dylan is a strong rider on the sand. And I think Deep Fort if he goes to the front, is going to be hard to catch in this race. Then my outsider selection, number 7, Just a Guy Thing. Warren Kennedy on board. I see he's got one of the highest strike rates on the sand, on the poly. So always a jockey you need to follow. This horse has been running there and thereabouts. I've been running in similar divisions, 5 lengths behind, 3 lengths behind, 2 lengths behind, and maybe the 1,000 meters today again. Last time out, he was 14th, and he finished 23.3 second for fastest 400 to finish. There he did a 22.2 in June, so he'll be finishing strongly. And then my outside selection is number 9, which is Spider's Corner. Also Duncan Howell, he made Muzi Yeni on board. That one is maiden nicely, beating Fire the Track, whatever. And then run 4th behind Rob the Rascal in a C division, the D79. now a little bit down in class and keep an eye out for Spider's Corner. I think Duncan now stable has turned the corner, and Hollywood Syndicate are placing their horses nicely, and they're getting the rewards and the winners. So let's move on to race number 3, where we have the Fraser Mare 61 handicap over 1200 meters. Let's have a look at the betting. Number 5, Numi 2 to 1, 22 to 10 ratio at your request, 6 to 1, first sight 7 to 1, Arctic Princess 10 to 1, 16 to 1, and longer the rest. Yes, in this race, I had to make a choice between two horses, and that was between number 4 and number 5. And the thing that swayed it in number 5's favor is number 5 is getting the -4. And he has been running on strongly. Numi always runs on strongly. You can see fastest to 400 to finish in her last 3 races. She finished like a steam train, but always, come up short. Hasn't won a race for 470, but I think with the straight on board today with the -4, today might be Numi's day. In my outsider selections, it's at your request. This horse has been running there and thereabouts, has been running in a little bit stronger divisions. Now today running in the 56, where before it's running in the 75, 73, 72, 66. And it's always there and thereabouts, kicking a mile on board. Nice outsider to put into your selections. Then number 7, it's my other outsider selection. First sighting, Lyle Hewitson. First sighting, he's one of those horses that run one good race, one bad race, and today is due for a good race again. And so watch out for number 7, first sighting. He hasn't won over this distance, but I get the feeling that the 1200 meters shouldn't be a problem. And with Lyle Hewitson on board today, I think it's a nice jockey strike. And I see also Anton Marcus has ridden this horse before. So maybe they expect something from this horse. So number 7, first sighting, definitely a horse that you would want to put into your play. So that is race number 3. Let's move on to race number 4. A merit rated 65 handicap, class D. Average merit rated 65. It's not often that you get the merit rated and the average merit rating the same. The average merit rating is normally a little bit lower. So this would point that that there's the horses in this race are strong in terms of the class that they are running in. So something to think about. So let's have a look here at my first the betting. Race number 4, Double Ash 28 to 10, 9 to 2 Ferrari Eyes, 11 to 2 Alpha Mike Foxtrot, Living Water 16 to 1, 9 to 1 False Power, Leslie Shadow Liner 10 to 1, Roy's Magic 14 to 1, Grande Maestro 16 to 1, Perfectly Putt 16 to 1, Bolt Matador 16 to 1, Montana Sky 25 to 1, Gravitation 25 to 1. As we said, we're working here with D, merit rated 65. So here we go down to number 12. Now, if you have a look here, you'll see here, this horse ran in an average merit rated C division last time out over the 1600 meters. It ran 9 lengths behind pack leader. Pack leader did run in the Cup on Saturday. He was second favorite. I'm not sure where he landed up. But, I mean, just the fact that this horse ran 9 lengths behind, and I think that I remember that day when I was watching this race, Bolt Matador actually beat horses when he ran 4th that had a much higher speed rating than Bolt Matador. And I think today this is the horse that you need to watch. This horse has run against stronger competition. There is behind creation. Creation is no donkey. If I'm not mistaken, a fraud also won the other day again. Lord Melbourne is a multiple race winner. So this horse is Crank It Up also won again the other day. So if you have a look at the kind of horses that Old Matador running here, now he is running in a much lower division, probably on a track that he would like. And I think 12 Matador with Musieni on board today is going to run a huge race. I do respect number 11 Global Ash. I'm sure this horse is going to go to the front. But I would be thinking that Bold Matador would be running on from behind. So my outsider selections in this race, number 4, Living Waters. Last time out, I did give Living Waters as one of my outsider selection. He duly ran third at 50 to 1. I think he paid something like £5 a place. Today they've got Warren Kennedy on board again. And again here we're looking at the horse that ran a 75, a 74, a 76, a 71, a 69, and now finding it in a 65. And I think this horse last time out 23.7 can also be stiff opposition to the favorite and Bold Matador. My other outsider selection is number 6, False Power. This is a horse that did improve in his second last race. Also in that same race behind Cool Runnings, and he actually ran just in front of Living Waters. And so I think if we can repeat that run, definitely False Power can be in the reckoning. So let's move on to race number 5, which is a merit rated 70 handicap class D, average merit rating 63. Race 5, the betting is as follows. Let me just grease my throat again. Okay, here we have race number 5, 8 Mighty Smart, 28 to 10, Captain Z 15 to 4, Water Blast 6 to 1, Rain Dance 6 to 1, Captain Turk 10 to 1, 11 to 1 Silver Cent, Kenneth Alpha 11 to 1, Fever is 13 to 1, 16 to 1, and longer the rest. All right, race 5. My first selection is number 11, Rain Dance. Again, we have, we are running again in a D63. And I think you guys might sometimes tire for me always pointing out this average merit rating, but one of the bases of racing is that they say you want to keep you want to keep yourself in the best company, and you want to keep your horse in the worst company. That means you want to run your horse against weaker horses instead of good horses. And that's what I'm doing here, because some people has always said to me, one guy said to me, he gets so tired of me always saying the average merit rating and this and that. But this is the basis of handicapping and racing. And that's why I always, for me, that is the most important thing in this race card is how strong is the field, and then you can pair a horse to the other horses in that field to determine whether he can, has got a chance or not in terms of ability and how he performed before. So here we have a horse that has run in 986s, 87, 70, not doing well. But if you check, this horse came off a race. So those 3 runs, this horse was just getting fitter. And then he proved it when he ran in a novice in a 79 against Shareholder. Now, Shareholder is a horse that runs in B divisions and C divisions. And then last time over the 69 meter in a D division, which is about this class, He ran second, stayed on well, and ran third fastest to 400 meters. And that's another thing, that if a horse is fit, it will run on. That is so important. And then we got GENIE. So in my eyes, Rain Dance definitely a huge contender in this race. My outsider selections is as follows. Number 2, Water Blast. This is a horse, he always runs, there and thereabouts, fallings, feelings, except there. He ran a little bit, but if you can look at a draw, he was 12 and 13, 12 at 12. But I've got the feeling that one of these days, this horse, Water Blast, is going to go, is going to land up in number 1 box. Now, what I want to show you guys is another thing in racing that I don't know how it works. But if you have a look, you'll see number 2, Water Blast, has won his last race in 365 days. So today, exactly a year ago, this horse won its last race. And I have seen often in racing, I cannot tell you over the years how many times I've seen a horse win a race, never win a race for a year, and then on exactly 365 days, or maybe 360 or 370, because depending on if it's a leap year or something like that, then he wins a race. So number 2, Water Blast, in my eyes, definitely a huge contender, because if you have a look here, this horse is now running in a in a in a 63. Here he was running on an 84. He's come down and made it in 83 to a 68. 79, Run to Denmark. Run to Denmark has won again. True words, it's not a donkey, it's 11-time winner. So they ran against Run to Denmark, and then he ran fourth behind Galway. So I would think that is the biggest danger to my first choice, number 11, Rains Dance. What a blast. Then other thing is number 4, Tom Bombadil. Now, this is also drawn 4, also has been running against 87, 6 lengths behind Christopher Robin. Now, Christopher Robin ran in the big race on Saturday. So where does this leave this horse? I don't know what happened last time over the 2-4. Maybe that was too far, and also the 2000. Now they're bringing it back to 1800 meters, which would suit Tom Bombadil. So, I mean, at one stage, Anton Marcus was on this horse, so it must have had a bit of ability for him to even throw a leg. So number 4, Tom Bombadil, definitely a horse that you want to throw into your calculations. And then there's another horse that I saw, and I did include it in my quartet selections. No, I didn't. I need to change that a little bit, but I'll do that. It's Kenneth MacArthur. I've got a feeling that this horse is better than his last 2 runs. And maybe you want to throw this horse into your quartet and trifecta selections. I'm not sure if this horse has got the ability to win this race, but the Van Sale stable, this is the junior, is also getting some nice winners. So maybe you want to check Kenneth MacArthur into your play. Maybe he comes in, you stand in the queue collecting. What is the betting on number 10? 11 to 1, not bad. It's a bad price. It's just a feeling that I've got for the horse. So, and he has been running against a little bit stiffer opposition than he meets here. So maybe number 10, Kenneth Arthur, you want to include into your calculations here. Then we go to race number 6, which is a merited 70 handicap. Class D 68. Betting as follows. Chewbacca 33 to 10, Proud Warrior 7 to 2. Quarries Cowboy 5 to 1. Orchard Street 7 to 1. Lasata 8 to 1. Samson 19 to 1. Region 7 12 to 1. 14 to 1. And longer the rest. So here is 6 my selections as follows. My outright selection is number 4, which is Proud Warrior, Lyle Hewitson on board. This horse has been running well, has been running on third fastest, second fastest, fourth fastest, and I think Proud Warrior today, Alison Wright stable is in form, and I think Proud Warrior will be there when the photos are taken. My outsider selection, number 2, Region 7, Jared Ruck. The horse has been running there and thereabouts, and only carrying 53 can be involved in a finish with number 3, Samsonite. Samsonite is also running well lately, ran second to run to Denmark, and then just faded out behind Donald McDonald. And today running in a little bit lesser competition, Gareth Wright on board can be involved in the finish. Then let's move on to race number 7, which is a metal rated 68 handicap. Let's look at the betting. Shastina 22 to 10, here and after 4 to 1, Joyful Winter 7 to 1, Top Salute 9 to 1, Seek Storm 9 to 1, Supreme Win 11 to 1, Ruby Slippers 11 to 1, 14 to 1, and Longer the Rest. So here, my first selection, race 7, is number 10. Number 10, one is made in the other day, this filly. It's a dynasty. It's very well bred. It went to the front over the 700 meters, and they never saw it. When start to finish, the jockey wasn't even pushing it at the end. I watched the race, and I think number 10 in this field can go in again. My 2 outsider selections as follows. Number 1, Top Supreme Win. I think this Oratoria by Lecture Me has got ability, has won two races in Gauteng, and I think today here from draw 1, Jason Gates on board will definitely be involved in a finish. And then number 2, Ruby Slippers, also winning the maiden, and after the maiden, I mean, just got beaten by Eden Garden Blitz. And Eden Garden Blitz went from there and won another 2 races and ran second again over the weekend. Yes, she finished at 23.1 behind Super Fluke. Doug Campbell stable is in form. Do follow this horse. Then also number 6, here and after, is also a horse you need to include. Has not been running badly after the maiden, and I think can also be involved in the finish. 7, Top Salute, always a horse that's dangerous. Also include into your quartet and trifecta selections. And let's move on to race number 8. Race number 8 is a Phillies and Mares 75 handicap. Class D, average merit in 72. Let's look at the betting. Here the betting number 5, 8-fold Glass 3 to 1, Academy Gold 4 to 1, Macara 4 to 1, Alfonso Baby 11 to 2, 6 to 1, Class of 8, Fire Fairy 8 to 1, 12 to 1, and Longer the Rest. Here my first selection is number 8, and that can be another winner for Muzieni. Nathan Courtson's table is in form. This horse has won well a few runs back over the poly 1600 meters. Came from way back, 25.8 fastest 400. This horse always runs fastest 400 or second fastest 400, and I think today will not be exception, and is running in the same division than it ran before. And I think with Muzieni on board, from a little bit better draw last time, 12 out of 12, 11 out of 12, 12 out of 12 always. But I think Fiery Fairy definitely a huge runner in this race. Outside the selections is number one. In Rapture, has also run in stronger opposition, now running in down and a little bit down in class. But I think number 1 in Rapture from draw 1 can be involved in the finish. Has had 2 runs on the scores, 1 win, and that certainly shows that he likes the distance and the course. Did run not a reasonable race behind Marizan, now down in class. My other outsider selection is number 6, Iris Pill. This is Moodley. This horse has also been running well. That ran 2 lengths behind Class of 8. Class of 8 has won again since. Sacred Blues, Alfonso Baby also has been running on. Can be involved in the finish, Irish Pearl. Number 7, Macara. Maybe you want to also include that in your play. It ran a nice race after the maiden, not to be discarded. So let's move on to race number 9. Where we have a look at the betting. It's a maiden plate, and here we have an even money shot number Number 10, Morse 1-1. Even money, so smooth between 8 to 10. Gigan 8-1. Darkest Dawn 10-1. Master George 10-1. Lambara 16-1. And longer the rest. Again, yeah, I'm going for the same combination as in race 8. My first choice is number 9. Number 9 is Lambara. Now, Lambara hasn't run on the poly, but also a horse that run on from the back. And I do feel that this 1600 meter is going to suit this horse on the poly. First time on the poly, already a 4-year-old. Musieni on board, definitely in with a huge chance. Here we have the even money favorite. I can tell you now, I won't be rushing to put money on this horse. Already a 16 run maiden, still a maiden. Although they got Marcus on board, but I've said before, the bookies have got this thing. If Marcus is on a horse, they back it, and like there's no other horse in the race. This horse has run places against some decent opposition in Cape Town, but the horse hasn't run before in the poly. Although it's a twice over the Ford Wood, shouldn't be a problem. But definitely, I can say the horse has got a winning chance, but not even money. In my outsider selections is number 1, Darkest Dawn, then is Dryer Stable, Sean Wheel. I just got a feeling that this horse would appreciate the longest 1600 meters. The Master of My Fate by Cecil May definitely crying out for this distance. So definitely keep in mind. And number 2, Brushback. I think also, David, of a shorter distance, but you look at the breeding, a Futura by Lake Coniston, although Lake Coniston is more sprinting, but maybe this horse would go to his father's side and need the distance. So definitely a horse to include in your play. So that brings us to the end of our preview. Uh, I could point you in the right direction for a few winners. And as I always say, break a leg.